as well. Well, it's not only Townsend out and about, so too is Marty Snyder. Where do we find you, Marty?
Hanging out with Pato O'Ward, and one of the cool things about being here on pit road, when your old teammate is in the stall in front of you, you can pull a wrestling move on him. Was that the Suplex you tried to pull on Felix earlier? What was that?
I was pulling the chokey on him.
The chokey?
The chokey.
That was fun, though, right? We're going to move out of the way. So here it is. There's your move.
Yeah, I was doing the back chokey, and then I was doing the back approach chokey.
All right. Hey, in all seriousness, how's the track been? And with a dust storm like this, how will the track be for the first few laps?
Thermal has been very thermal. I would say it's really, really sensitive to set temperature, and right now it's getting really gusty. So I'd assume that it'll be even more challenging than what we've experienced, at least this morning. So it's been, you need to hustle this thing around in order to just to get a lap time out of it. So we've been in the mix. I don't think we're quite there yet as a group, but we're in good shape. This session for us, we're going to be focused a bit more on what we've got for qualifying. It seems like the wind is going to get even stronger now. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot more to say besides just send it, try not to wall it, and boom.
I'm trying to find a candidate who qualifies towards the back or who will start towards the back in the final race with 12 cars to just ride around on new tires. Is that a viable theory, to ride around for the first 10 laps and then after the halftime break go as hard as you can go?
I think that's viable. Looking at, I believe the Penske's were extremely strong in the long run according to our data analysis. So we've got some work to do both in optimal pace and in the long run, but that's viable point, I think. I mean, it's such a long track. Even if you're 10 seconds a lap slower than them in a 10-lap stint race, they still don't lap you. So yeah, if you've got tires that are 2.5 seconds faster than theirs in the second half, you will definitely be able to get by them. So viable, yes.
There you go. Hanging out with his teammate Marcus Ericsson as we ride on board with Kyle Kirkwood. We rode on with him a moment ago, Marcus, and you can hear the bumps on the track when you go offline a little bit. How does that feel behind the wheel?
Yeah, it's pretty rough with some of the exits when you get a bit wide, so you got to keep that in mind for sure. And then especially it's, I think, tomorrow in the race, it can catch you out if you're close behind someone and trying to look for a move. It's pretty rough in some places.
Is it too windy for a lot of teams right now and the track too dusty to go out? Is that why some drivers are just hanging out for the moment?
Yeah, I think so. It's been picking up a lot here the last half an hour, and then we saw the first couple of cars go out and it was a lot of sand and dust coming out of the back of them. So yeah, we're just going to give it a minute or two and then see where the track's at, because it looks not ideal at the moment.
I'm going to relay a question from Mr. Diffie to you, so go ahead, Diff.
Hey, Marty, ask Marcus, if you would, that Townsend and I noticed on occasion when Marcus comes through turn 16, that little kicker jump, he was taking a slightly different line to other people. He was keeping his right side wheels more to the right to stabilize the car better. Get him to tell us about how he takes those last two turns.
He's talking about how you take the last two turns, and he feels like you're maybe positioned a little bit different than everybody else. Is that intentional, and do you feel like that kind of takes out that jump, if you will, with 16 and 17?
It's one of the things actually I've been looking at over lunch, that I need to clean up my line there. I go quite wide. I try and get the rear cell and get like a straight exit, but I'm losing too much time in the entry, so even if I gain a bit in the exit, it's just a overall loss for me there. So good to pick that out on the broadcast.
Does this mean we owe Diffie a coaching fee for the day after this, or what?
Yeah, he can just send an invoice, so we're all good.
All right, I'll give you his email address here in a little bit, Diff. It's Kevin.
Hey, Marty, this is a big moment in our 2 days of broadcasting because I found Kiffin Simpson. And why does that matter, at least to me? Well, we set a personal goal that we wanted all 27 drivers on the air at some point. But as a rookie, you very rarely got out of the car. How's it gone for you?
Yeah, it's been a very busy last 2 days. We've done just lots of laps trying to learn this track because I wasn't here last year for the test that everyone was at. Well, most of the drivers were at. And just learning the track, learning the car still, as this is only my second race, and just trying to get as many laps in and experience as possible.
St. Pete went great for you. The biggest mover, I think, moved up 9 spots. You're the top rookie, second biggest mover. Where are you at from even just that one race to where you're at this weekend?
Yeah, I think St. Pete was a good weekend. We made a lot of progress throughout the weekend. We didn't start where we wanted to, but by the end of the weekend we felt a lot more confident, and I think we're kind of doing the same here, just slowly gaining confidence and just working our way up to it.
So I know some are really thinking about qualifying for later this afternoon in this session. What about for you? Are you thinking about that, or is this still big picture, we just want to run laps?
It's kind of 50-50. I mean, qualifying is going to be very important here with only 10-lap heat races, so where you qualify is going to be very important for how the rest of your weekend goes. But at the same time, we just want to work on the car and get me as much experience as possible.
Okay, I don't want you to be late because you're still relatively new and get in trouble. Kiffin Simpson ready to get in and get out on track. One of two. We've talked to all 27 drivers participating this weekend. It's time to start getting some we'll see in a car at other times this year. We talked to Jack Harvey yesterday, and Connor Daly is going to be with Dreyer and Ryan Bolden, Cusick Motorsports, in the number 24 car for the Indianapolis 500. Before we talk about that, let's talk about this. You've been here before. What would this be like right now with this wind? Not just gusts, but a steady wind.
That's nightmare fuel. That's maximum confusion before qualifying. I mean, these guys have had a pretty decent days weather-wise. You know, it was a little hot yesterday, but today, when this wind kicks up, there's so many medium speed and high speed corners here that you're very, very wind dependent, and you're really trying to pin the nose with the wind. But then all of a sudden, if you get that wind to go away, you're seeing a lot of cars go off with basically their entire front wheel lock at maximum because they've lost all front grip. So it's going to be a difficult one for them out there for sure.
So let's combine the wind and high tire degradation. How difficult is that if you say are 13, 14 laps into a stint?
Well, it's great for us watching, great for spectators. You know, it just creates a little bit more chaos. I mean, trying to find the balance mechanically is super important, but you rely so much on the aero in these cars, in this era for sure, that you just create a question mark. You create, did we make the right change? Like, are we doing the right thing for qualifying? Because this is your last time you get to evaluate anything before qualifying. So everyone's in a tough spot right now. You don't want to overthink yourself. Overthinking is your enemy right now.
Let's talk oval racing now. We're going to see you back in a car really soon, April 10th and 11th. That's going to be on Peacock for the open test at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I suspect you're okay with this. Let's roll a highlight of you leading the greatest spectacle in racing. You have been strong so many years there. New situation for you. What are you expecting?
Well, honestly, I mean, last couple years being in the top 10 there and having a couple of my best races really over the last 3 years in general has been super confidence inspiring. I mean, you know, that year,
crowd, by the way, come on now.
That year in particular, we didn't even finish that great because we had no front end on the thing that was left after we punted a tire 60 yards away. So, you know, I feel good there. This is also going to be the first time in 4 years that I've driven a different package, a different team, a different car there. So it'll be different. But, you know, Don Cusick is out here. He's been spending a lot of time with him. He's part of our effort. We're going to have a really cool primary sponsor that we're going to announce hopefully soon before the test, which is going to be really, really nice. And I just can't wait to drive. It is really painful not being a racing driver and being a content creator. But shout out to the IndyCar content office right now. Everyone's doing an incredible job in their offices over there. We're putting out some great stuff. If you haven't seen it, please go to the internet, IndyCar, and check out what we've done. I think it's been a lot of fun.
That shows you really are a content creator, getting that in there. Connor Daly, back in the car soon. Townsend.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Plenty of speed in this session, Marty.
Will Power second quickest. I mean, have you ever driven in conditions like this, Will, where there's so much wind and a dust storm and then it calms down? I mean, it's been crazy this session.
You know what? It actually made the direction of the wind made the track a bit better. It's a lot more difficult anytime you've got on your tail, but there's a lot more fast corners facing to the wind, and braking zones. So actually, we went faster. But it is, dust on the track and the wind into the corners where you have got it on the back of the car. But I didn't mind it when I saw it. I said, tough conditions. You've got to work it out. So not such a bad thing.
That sounds like a Will Power kind of day to me, Kevin. He loves crazy conditions like that. It is.
But how about Christian Lundgaard? 0.4 of a second better during this gust towards the end of the session. How'd you pull that out?
To be honest, I don't really know. I think it's a little bit of hit and miss out there with the wind and the gusts. Obviously, probably 30+ miles an hour, which is never fun. But the 45 Hy-Vee Honda has been quick all week. The 2 test days we've had here, the lowest we've been is 5th. So the pace has been there. We proved it now. Obviously, the last session before we go into qualifying. But I'm just looking forward to see what this wind is going to do for Group 1. I'm in Group 1. So is Will. So it's going to be a race between me and Will in the first group, I think. You know, we've both been up there and showed good laps, but I got to give credit to the team. We were quicker last year. We didn't start the season as well as we wanted. Obviously, we went to St. Pete. Had the puncture on lap 1, but there was so much to be optimistic about leaving St. Pete, and I think we're proving it right now. The result wasn't there on race day, but it was something out of our control. So it's good to reward them with at least something like this to give them extra optimism for the rest of the year.
All right, a lot of optimism in the Hy-Vee Honda camp, going for $500,000 in the best starting spot coming up later today.
That'd be very nice. That is a significant margin, his speed, to put over the best qualifier in the history of this sport. We roll through the results pretty quickly for you because that is the end of the open test. Everyone will take something away, whatever they want from that. And then now it's time to deliver.